before I hit it. I just hit
Oh,
it.
no, good. Sorry,
Oh,
just getting into it. Um, what I was gonna ask is, where's my tech conception video for the week? Come on, man.
I was in the shower dwelling on that like 10 minutes ago.
I've been watching
So
it patiently. I'm like, where is Odie's new machine he's gonna show off? What the hell?
this is what I was dwelling. This is what I was dwelling on when I was under the shower head. I'm like, all right. So I reached out to Odie. Uh, I think like Saturday. I'm
Hmm.
like, what time do you want to record? And he's like, oh well, can we skip this weekend? I'm tired and I want to do things. I have other plans. And I'm like, Negro, like we just conceived that we're going to do this channel and with the sole purpose of helping people and monetizing. Like we're like this right here, what we're doing, there's no monetization. It's just a brain dump and casual conversation. But with Odie and myself, we literally put together a model for how we're going to discuss mainstream topics so that we can build up in hopes that we can build some passive income, right? Like we literally performed analysis on how we can get to like I don't know, like 5,000 subscribers like within maybe 6 months. I say all this because like I reached out to him like, all right, what time do you want to record this weekend? And he's like, oh, let's skip this weekend. Okay. What time you want to record Monday? Nah, I'm too busy during weekdays. I'm exhausted from work. I'm like, this isn't the first time. Like, I've reached out to him for other types of projects, and he'll say yes. He'll work on it for like 2 weeks, and then he throws up the "I'm too busy" flag and drops it. And so, like, I feel like this is following the same pattern. That's my frustration based on past history. So that's
Yeah.
my response. And have I thought about having other personalities on there while he is not available? Yeah, but we literally had a discussion about that when we conceived the channel. And he said, no, this is going to be you and I. We're going to split everything 50-50. If you want to have another speaker, you do it on a separate channel. Tech Conception is Scott and Nodi. I'm like, okay. But then, like, we recorded 2 videos. He literally took a week off that soon, like an entire week. Like, if it's anything that you probably do realize about my personality is like I try really hard to be consistent, and like it just annoys me. If we put together a plan, let's do it. So I'm done venting, but it bothered me. So that's the answer. Odie decided he wanted to take a week off after just 2 episodes. It's not like we're doing video editing.
Yeah,
So you can
yeah.
tell I'm
Video editing is
frustrated because
hard.
I'm
Yeah,
like, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's not waste time. If we're going to commit to this, let's commit to it. Like, this isn't a casual thing. Do it. Like, you can tell I'm frustrated because I feel like it was unnecessary. Like, you can do it. All right, if you're busy for the weekend, fine. Let's do it on Monday or Tuesday. But really, you're going to take entire 7 days off. Like, yeah, that bothered me. So,
yeah. I guess I don't, I don't see the what he's going through. So I'm sure he's got his reasons. But I mean, getting
hmm.
an hour in I guess unless it takes him more than an hour, it might. Like when I was doing like the podcast thing way back when, like that actually was like there's a lot you have to do until you get your stuff dialed in. It's like you have to find guests, you have to set up the call, you have to do the call, you have to get the recording, you have to edit it and publish it, and then you know it's a lot of work. But yeah, I don't know.
Not
I
to
mean,
just have a conversation for an hour.
yeah, jumping on a call like this is not this is easy mode stuff.
Right.
So
That's the part. if you could
Yeah.
tell, I'm triggered by it because that's the part that I. It's hard for me to trying to choose the right words. It's hard for me to like just build a bridge and get over it. Like if someone says that they're going to do it, like let's do it. like, like it should be except it should be an exceptional reason why it doesn't get done. And if we're not going to do it today or tomorrow, when's the next available day, right? I mean, I was going through this yesterday. I'm like, I do not want to do my pull-ups and my dips in the yard. I'm exhausted. I've been up since like 3 in the morning. I don't want to do it. But then I'm like, if I don't do it, then how far is that going to push me back from from what I need to maintain or my objective that I want to be at in 12 weeks? And when I provide that, I'm like, F it. Let me find some type of like YouTube channel that will handhold me all the way to the destination I need to get to do my workout. And once I'm there, I'm there. It's just trying to get there, right? So you ever
Yeah.
play psychological mind tricks to do what you know is good for you?
Um, I mean, I've tried it. They don't work. And I think I read something about this somewhere is that there's a certain type of people that once you know it's the trick, it doesn't work anymore. Like once you rationalize the fact I'm trying to trick myself. This isn't it. Like it doesn't work. That type of enforcement doesn't work. That's why I've never said yes to doing beach delivery with you because I'm like I don't want to be that guy who
Yeah,
says
don't be
yes.
Odie.
Like this, I'm 99% consistent on, right? Like
yeah,
there's times where it's just Friday does not work. Um, but what have we been doing this now for like? Has
three.
it been like 6 years or something?
No,
No, it can't have been that long, could it?
I think it's been
It's right. It's
3 or 4. We're at episode we're at volume like 189 or something or 187. So it's
I don't know, man. It's
I
been
think
a
it's three
long
years.
time. It was. I feel like it was right after I moved back to my current place, but maybe I'm just mistaking that with. No. It would have been. Would
It's
it have
been
been?
more than 2 years.
It was either 2019 or 2018, I think.
I had a kid, so it was more than 2.5 years.
Yeah,
It's over 3 years.
yeah. I'm just
It
trying
may
to.
be it may be 4.
If I can find the. There's the channel. I can just go back to the Masterminds. We'll just go back to the very first one. When was that recorded? Volume 1 was. When was this posted? I don't even say. What kind of bullshit is this?
Uh, is there comments? The comments
Oh
probably
no,
haven't
it's
updated.
3 years ago. Yeah, it says 3 years ago.
Uh,
March 8th, 2019.
so I've been frantically coding up a new service. Well, the service existed, but I published it yesterday. It was like the rental service, and before the rental service accommodated inventory and it tracked inventory and it tracked rentals, hence issued, received, decommissioned, registered, etc. And then I enhanced it to accommodate is rental when passed in um, a list of products. And also, I added on a separate service, I can't remember which one, on the courier service, I added scheduled delivery or scheduled pickup, scheduled drop off. All this is to basically focus on the user stories for a customer has ordered some rentals, not just like bottled water or whatever consumables, perishables, but ordered some equipment. And so I started writing the services for a courier to, it may not be the same courier, to pick up that equipment, for the customer to receive a reminder. Um, First, when they place it, they get an immediate reminder of the expectations. And then 20 minutes before the equipment is due for return, they get another SMS reminder. I get a reminder. And then there's a scheduled Azure Service Bus message that drops in the service bus 20 minutes prior to the pickup time. And so I think I'm wrapping up with the completion of that service and the clients that rely on it by the end of business day today. And I think that should provide enough for me to for me to like test it out in the field, like with the limited equipment that I have. Because the biggest part is I need to make sure that um, a customer just doesn't leave with my equipment because they don't know how to return it back to me. So I have to have like these scheduled reminders, and I have to get notifications and they have to get notifications. And for it to seem like I'm not a scam artist, for them to like, for me to be on point um, in an automated fashion, for them to receive updates regarding their recent purchase
Hmm.
or transaction. So I've been coding like a Hebrew slave, man.
What's the what are you using for the reminder system? The scheduled reminders? Are
Are you
you
talking
just
about for SMS or are you talking about for service bus?
for well, just the capability in total, like 20 minutes before it's due, what triggers that 20-minute mark event? Or like,
All right,
do you
so
have a schedule? Like, are you batch calling? Or do
no,
you
no,
have
no,
a
no, no.
scheduled event? Are you
When
running a scheduler?
when the courier declares that they have delivered the package to the
Hmm.
customer location, when they hit that button, it hits the courier service delivered function, and towards the end of that function, the last sequence of lines are for scheduling a pickup, right? So courier delivered, ta-da. Okay, great. Let's update our records and tables, whatever. Let's send the customer a text message that their equipment has been delivered or whatever has been delivered to them, right? And then they could call in and say no, it hasn't, or whatever. And then because it's been delivered, and we know that it's a high probability that they have the equipment because we also have the GPS location of the customer and the courier that substantiates that they came in close contact with one another. It is safe to now schedule a pickup. So let's drop in a Azure Service Bus message and set the scheduled property for the pickup time, the courier pickup time at the customer site minus 20 minutes. That's going to be the date time of the message on the service bus to be scheduled, right? The time to pick it up when the rental is due minus 20 minutes, so
Okay.
that um, I am in the know, the customer is in the know, and then the courier. I don't know. I'll probably
Long story short, so are
yeah.
you, is it you're scheduling a message to be picked up off the bus in the future? Is that what you're
Yes,
doing? You're saying
the
publish this
message. Yes.
message, but delay it until this time.
Yeah, in SMS, Twilio has their own scheduler for SMS, and as I think you and I talked about, manually you could do it on your phone, at least with Android.
Oh, okay. So you're actually using Twilio to say send this text message at this time rather than scheduling it and then sending it like.
I have to write that part. That
Oh,
probably
okay.
shouldn't take me more than half an hour to research and write. But the service bus part is done.
Yeah, time-based triggers like are always the thing that that gets me. Wonder if I wonder if there's just a good service for literally just time-based triggers, like where you could just set up and say at this time do this or
Hey,
whatever.
Gambler, it is. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
scheduled. Um, message that you do.
Yeah,
There's literally a
yeah,
property that's called like scheduled blah 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 for an Azure Service Bus message,
yeah,
and you set
yeah.
that.
I understand that.
Well, there's two options. You can either set the scheduled property, or you can call the client sender instance and say dot schedule message, and then you provide a date time offset, which took me an hour to try to understand what that meant. It's more complicated than what it sounds,
Yeah, no, I
especially in
think
F
I've seen
sharp
that.
when I'm trying to set it, and I have little squigglies. I'm like,
Just ask Chat GPT. Be like, hey, well, how do you do this in the
I asked
show?
ChatGPT a question earlier. I got to open up another Microsoft support ticket because the bounty that I posted for on Stack Overflow, like it doesn't matter. No one's answering it. Well, one person answered, but it didn't resolve it.
Hmm. What was the problem this time?
Dude, like when I go through the Azure portal and I manually provision my environment with all the whatever resources that my client needs, it could call the Azure function, no problem. As long as I have a API key for my Azure function that the client knows and it just passes it at to the end of that URL, it's fine. No, but when I stand up that the environment using Pulumi,
Hmm.
it unauthorized. I'm like, well, I gave you the API key. Like, why is it unauthorized? Who would know the API key? Unauthorized. And so then I'm like, all right, well, do I need to create a bearer token? Okay, I'll create a bearer token. I know nothing about bearer tokens at all, but let me figure out how to do it. I'll spam people on Stack Overflow. Okay, well, I know how to do a bearer token. It works in this context. All right, let me try to hit this Azure function with this bearer token. Unauthorized. So I've been dealing with this for like probably 6 days now. I mean, I have other work to work on, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to get this thing done, man. I got like T minus 6 weeks. I don't know if I told you. I'm applying to Y Combinator. The deadline is April 7th.
Oh, cool. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, there's a 2% acceptance rate, and because I'm a single founder, I think that reduces it to like 0.05. But I need to go through the exercise. It's going to force me as I'm filling out the application to have revelations about things that I never considered. So I'm just going to go through the process.
Yeah, might as well. You know, there's no harm in trying.
I bought I bought three JBL Flip Sixes. I bought two JBL Boombox threes. I I was annoying residents on the South Beach Boardwalk yesterday morning with my Flip Six at like 6:30 in the morning, playing hardcore gangster rap. And then I tested out my Boombox threes, my dual. I synced both of them, and I was annoying people on the beach yesterday evening.
Oh, so you're
I
one of
live in an
those people.
Orthodox Jewish neighborhood.
Just gotta find a really, really like a gangster Yiddish rap or something like that. Just like, is there such a
Chat
thing? There's gotta be.
GPT, write me a gangster Yiddish rap.
Yeah. About I don't know, the spinning the dreidel or something. Who knows?
Yeah, so I mean that's it. I've I've been like hella. I'm so rock starish when I'm like unemployed when it
I
comes to
think
like coding.
I think most people are. Like, I was going gangster too, and I had that like month off, and I was just like, I'd just get up and work on that fantasy console thing I was working on. Like, I was having fun. Like when you can actually spend time working on things you're engaged with,
You
dude.
feel
It's freaking.
productive.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. You
not like
feel
the
like
bureaucracy and the politics of a job where like you literally have to wait for things to get signed off and then you have to like hold off until there's something else. Like here it's like F people. Like let me give me the rings, right? I don't think I belong in enterprise development. I think I
me
belong in
too.
startup.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
F,
exactly how I
F
feel
a
too.
team. Like I'm too competitive for a team, man. I like doing things without waiting. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind having a team of
no,
people,
F a team.
but different. Clear. First of all, clear like decision making and different skill sets. Like I think I'd be great with somebody who just really loves infrastructure work. Like take somebody who likes doing like Terraform, Pulumi, Kubernetes, like New Relic or like event like monitoring, observing, all that stuff, like an SRE or like a DevOps type person. And they do that part. They're just gonna set up they're gonna set up stuff to make it like their job is to make it so that my job is super easy in terms of deploying my application. Like I just say, I commit my code and it just happens. like I tell them where it needs to go, or they give me some self-service things, and I can go brain dead stupid. Like click button. I want this to service, and it's going to be named this, and it's going to be at this URL, and done. And it just goes does it. Here's my repo. Click boom, done. Off the races. Everything's just done for me.
We're assuming that the SRE doesn't have any barriers to get that done.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. But in a startup, so like I'm part of a team, but it's like a cohesive like things. And I also, it'd be nice to have a product person who actually really understands and is moving with the same pace of the product, right? And is doing the user research and iterating on the design and stuff. And there's still accept my feedback as the engineer, and we work together on the problems, but they're doing the actual validation work. Um, and then that's that, man. So it's like there's team, but it's like it's not like you're trying to share the thing. I honestly don't know that a microservice needs more than one developer on it at any given time for ownership, and even a suite of them within a similar domain, as long as the person understands what's going on.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what's the definition of a microservice.
Yeah, well, once you get your stuff set up, it's not difficult. It's you know what I mean. As long as you've got a good sense on your good sense about about how to design the thing, or you have the freedom to quickly iterate and change things once you realize you've got the design wrong. Like that, like I think a single developer could can manage like you know
Yeah,
that builds the product from scratch could probably manage that entire thing for years without needing a team.
I think so too. You know what the challenge is? It's political.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's what
there
it always is.
there's enterprises that behave like government agencies where if they don't use the budget, they lose it. And they literally make questionable decisions like, oh, well, let's just go ahead and hire some more people. Well, we don't need more people. Yeah, but I mean, it's good to have. Rather have it than not. Like what they're not considering
Ten
is
thousand layoffs later.
that too. What they're not considering is diminishing returns, right? Every time, yes, I'm speaking in absolutes. Every time you add a human being to the equation, you're adding complexity.
Yeah,
All right. Now, it may be fine and you still have an incredible return on investment, maybe with the first two. You keep adding people, the complexity of communication becomes it takes more effort, right? And so that's the thing where I think a lot of managers just keep dropping the ball is they don't understand the human factor of trying to get things done and how people, the more people you add, high probability that each individual that you recently hired are going to try to demonstrate why they're relevant to the business, which then adds accidental complexity to what needs to be accomplished because they're going out their way during their 90-day probation to demonstrate that, yeah, I'm capable, right? Ask me how I know this. So,
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you mean. Um, I, I continually like all of my struggles. Pretty much, I feel like in development are always organizational based in terms of the way we structure teams or autonomy or like adherence to dogmatic Scrum or you know really not well thought out like requirements like you must do this with your code or billions of checklists because they had one tiny thing go wrong here like 2 years ago, and now the solution is to do this extremely heavy process or something. All that stuff, man. I don't know. That's where I think you're probably right, and I'm probably on the same boat that I think a startup type scenario where you're quick moving, you don't really have time to rest on your laurels, and you have a clear vision of what you want to do. Man, it would be awesome. Actually, there was a tweet yesterday I responded to. I don't think Derek responded back, but it was like it was along the lines of like, do we have a skills gap in critical thinking when it comes to like saying the words like it's always been this way um,
there's a
or
there's a skills gap in having data-driven decisions or making data-driven decisions. That's
yeah,
there's so many decisions that are not backed by actual data. It's just backed on, well, I think, right? And that's the part that just annoys me.
yeah, yeah. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much a lot of decisions we make aren't data driven. Like, I I still contest, and I know we've brought this up a million times, so we don't need to get into it. But that unit
We're going to
testing
talk about
is
unit. I knew you were going to say unit
it's a
testing.
bigger drag. Prove me I'm wrong. It's a bigger drag on productivity than it is gain on bug
Well, you
fixes.
said unit testing. You didn't say integration testing.
Yeah, that's I think, and that's where our conversation always ends. Is that I've found many bugs testing my shit at a top like user, even the user level testing. That's where I think it'd be good to build out the like the capabilities for testing. And I always hate this because the last few orgs I've been in, like there's a separate QE team that works on these like high level user tests that like it's kind of like a handoff, traditional like handoff type
Yeah,
stuff.
they'll do it in Selenium or
And
something.
yeah. And I'm like, why do we write tests at this level and then have you write these tests? It's like, why don't what my in the same way that there's like a I think that having a platform engineering team that is responsible for making it so that I can release services as fast as possible and they do infrastructure capabilities, like having a quality engineering team that literally just focuses on making me as powerful as I can at testing my own applications from a business perspective, or maybe even the product owner could do that. Like they could write Gherkin or something and they can generate tests, or we both work on that. Like they build
You
the
don't think that's your
infrastructure.
responsibility?
What, to build those tests?
Yeah.
No, because
As a
it's
startup, you don't think that's your
oh no,
responsibility?
as a startup, yeah. But in the enterprise places I've been, I always like suggest, hey, let's start having developers use the QE like infrastructure, and we work together on that, and we build the tests because I write do these tests whenever I develop something. It's like if we could get it set up so that I could locally run your suite of tests and do the same thing locally, like and it through development all the way up, it's like I could just write the test while I'm doing it, like because I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
But
Like,
but no, it's like no, you got to test it behind the app, like the backing systems and unit testing, like little methods. And I'm like, no, that's just not useful.
I think we agree on unit testing part,
Yeah.
but
So, but
I,
yeah, I don't want to get
yeah.
into that discussion anymore. Again, but that's what I'm saying is it's like in a enterprise type thing, it's like they want to have these silos of shit, and it's just and then dogmatic Scrum. Don't even get me started about that. it's the same thing. It's like we can't do that because we do Scrum here, and so we can't do Kanban. I'm like, I always try to Kanban is compatible with Scrum. It is 100% compatible. You have a backlog, you keep in whatever, you pull up your first set into your Kanban board and say this is our sprint because you should have the backlog. Kanban
Yeah,
Scrum is Kanban.
I
It's
mean,
just
there's a
without the
separate.
limiting factor at the end.
My last gig, there was one team that was practicing Kanban,
Yeah,
and they were a respected team,
yeah. It's
and
and I think
and
like
then they
Scrumban is
didn't
the same.
broadcast it because they didn't want to be scrutinized.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is that we're not allowed to make our own decisions about how like the process should work because we have to fit within the bounds that the organization wants to put around people so that they can report.
Well, I mean,
Not realizing that that's report, it's like it's iatrogenics. It's like
this
it's
is
harm.
yeah. This reminds me is what you said reminds me of. Okay, so I'm an architect. This is an MVP that we're building. We don't need to be doing feature branches. Like we don't. It's it's not necessary.
Who does
Let's
feature branches
let's
anymore?
just build off of master. Like it's easier.
Okay,
We're all continuously integrating. No, it doesn't work. How are you gonna tell me it doesn't work? Like, have you done it? I didn't. And I failed. Okay. Well, what practices did you have to support that it failed, or that caused it to fail, or like what practices did you do? Like, did you have like automated testing and monitoring? Like, tell me what was the context or the environment such that it failed for you, and why do you believe that if it failed for you, it's going to fail for me? Do you really think that we're going to have the exact same setup? And they don't want to entertain that when I start drilling them. Like, I hate teams. I hate committees. Like, just set me free. Let me do it. Let me lead by example.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It
that's the
would be
thing,
nice
man.
to have a situation where you could now. Granted, I don't think we've ever been in a case where we've had the ability to actually design how the development process should go, or just whatever. And so maybe in reality, what we think works doesn't actually work when you get into an organization of size. But I don't know. I feel like the entire idea behind Agile is to free people to decide how to what works, what doesn't work, and move. And if dogmatic Scrum isn't like the way to do it, then you don't do that anymore. You follow a new path.
You
It's
know how
like,
many projects fail
here's your
using
waste.
you know how many projects fail using Agile?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. Just as many
Yeah.
as I'm sure it's more now.
You know how many projects fail using Safe?
Whoa, hold on. Actually, no. You know what? None, because nobody's really doing really real agile. They're just doing iterative development, and that's
and,
it.
and doing stand-ups.
Yeah, that's it. It's daily status meetings and whatever. It's like they still keep all the historical structures in place. I don't know, man. I'm just like so over the software like
All right, so if I
culture out
in
there.
the extremely low probability that I get funding, then would you consider?
If you can pay me, maybe,
Yeah,
yeah. Although I don't know if I'd be, I don't know if I'd be,
compatible.
yeah. I want to take things my own way. I'll just rip up your stuff. Be like, I'm not doing everything through Azure Service Bus. Fuck that. I have a few things through Azure Service Bus. No,
Well, if it's a
I'm just
completely,
gonna do it in Microsoft Orleans, the whole thing.
if it's a
Done.
siloed, separated component,
I want a monolith to start, buddy. That's what I want.
mm,
A modular monolith. Think
I
about boundaries,
I
but
think like I was asked this question, then someone asked me, does it have to be F sharp? Like, no, but it has to be a cool language. I'm not going to let Java into my solution. I'm not.
yeah.
It could be Clojure, it could be Go, it could be a number of languages that I don't know, but it's not going to be Java. It's not going to be Ruby either.
C sharp,
Yeah, I
Python.
mean C sharp just because it's already .NET,
Yeah, it's
right?
compatible. Like it'd be easy for you to. Yeah,
But
but
the
how
thought
about
process,
Python?
yeah, the
Yeah.
thought process was the reasoning was I want to attract a certain breed of developers to work with. I don't think if it's written in Java that the philosophy of how we would like to accomplish this is going to really attract like-minded people. However, if someone decides that they're going to inject some Haskell or Elixir or Go or any other like modern language into the solution, then it demonstrates that they know more than just that language, right? I've never met someone that knew Haskell or Go or any other language in which that was the only language that they knew. I have met people that write in C sharp in which they only know C sharp. I have met people that write in Java in which they only know Java, and so they don't have the capability to they're constrained to think in one way to address a challenge, and I'm not interested in those types of people or developers. So,
Yeah. I mean, I've always, for the most part, written in C flavored languages, with C sharp being the dominant one. But I did a lot of C programming for a long time. But I did some Java. Man, I hated Java. The whole ecosystem, the it feels just heavier than.
I hate the personalities of the people I work with that are Java developers, man. It's
Oh
like
yeah, I get it.
it's like their mindset is so fixed. Based on my experience, their mindset is so fixed. You
I
can't get them
you
to
find a
consider.
you find a pretty big contingent of that in the .NET space though too. Like it's the same kind of thing. Like clean architecture, interfaces for everything, single file for every class, which I hate
What
that now. I
to
hate it.
be
I'll never go back.
yeah, to be fair, the part that annoys me with .NET developers that are mainstream is the way that they organize their solution. It's it's services, repositories, and they're all thrown into the same project, right? That's the part that annoys me. So you have like services that are unrelated, completely different data structures that are not shared. They're thrown into the same project, right?
Yeah,
Same
see,
thing with
I don't
like
mind
it
project.
annoys me so much. I hate it.
Yeah, see, I don't mind putting things into the same project,
I hate
just
too.
as long as I know that there's boundaries within it. Because I my standard like setup now is an API project and a core project, and that's it. Like, and the API project is just to separate out like the HTTP entry point concerns from like the actual core, which could be implemented from a console or might need to be invoked from like a a function or something like that, or like a service bus message or whatever.
My default setup is for each domain within my solution, thou shalt have a domain.ui, a domain.view models or controllers, a domain.data gateway. So if there's like three domains like shopping cart, uh, delivery, and reports, then I have three UI projects. I have three data gateway projects. I have three view model projects within that solution.
Yeah, see, I don't like jumping around that much. But the thing is it's funny. I was thinking about this about like the fact that we optimize for our own like mental models, and that's where like it's really difficult to get anybody to agree on what their brain clicks with. Because I keep trying new things too. Like every time I run I do a new solution, I almost structure it different, and I keep trying to get closer and closer to
Well,
something simpler.
how can I reduce accidental complexity? And I believe by being more granular with the assemblies that I create. And so, do I really want to pull in the entire kitchen sink? for a service that I'm writing because I have all these types in which 98% of them have nothing to do with this service that I'm writing, and that's where like your whole like segregation of domains and having an assembly per domain, even though it's within one solution, I tend to prefer.
Yeah. Well, I could see that too if you're building like a maybe the trick there is because I mentioned modular monoliths as being like something a way I'd rather like to write things. But that would I probably would if I knew that there was actual separation between the contexts, then yeah, it would make sense to split them. But I'm looking thinking about like and when you say domain, I mean context, like the domain driven context or whatever. But like the most recent one I'm working on is like a prototype for like an inventory system, and like there's a bunch of different subcomponents of that, but I put that all in the same core project but in their own folders. So it's like there's a core project, and then that core project has features split out underneath it. Now is how I have it. And then underneath that I've got like a specific like the actual model as a sub to that, and then I've got um, like different use case essentially or application level stuff, like the things you can actually do with the thing. So like
You said an inventory system.
add an item, add quantity or whatever, or get the quantity or you know, yeah, yeah. So I was actually thinking about the other day because I've been working on this, and I was looking at I don't know how what it was. I listened to a .NET Rocks episode with Billy Hollis, and then I was thinking about my like the apps I used to write, and I was like, man, I should write a Windows app again just for fun. Like that would be cool. If I could get like a small product that just like people pay a subscription for, that's just like I just focus on that one small application. It doesn't need to become big, but like if I could get like $10,000 a month or something from it, that'd be like stellar. Charge like $10 a month and find 1,000 users or something.
Did your inventory system or design look anything like this? Mm,
Um,
scope to this directory. So register um, products and then report what's missing, report what has been decommissioned, hence end of life cycle, report what's been consumed, secured, issued. I'm not sure what consumed means in this context.
yes,
Uh,
so I think for literally for actual the items within there, I've just got like adjust item stock, um, set the selling price, which so when I say inventory, this is like a it's actually more of a broad offer management system. So like we deal with like we have like a marketplace, right? But and that's a sales channel. Um, and you can have multiple sales channels in a that a business might interact with, right? So one sales channel might be Amazon, and I'll try to keep. So one sales channel might be Amazon, another one might be eBay, another one might be Walmart.com, right? You have multiple sales channels. You have integration with those sales channels, and the actual thing that you're like going back and forth with is your between them is your offer. So you submit an offer for sale to a sales channel, and then they list that produces a listing on their site. So I'm thinking about this in terms of that. And so when I say inventory management, it's really this is closer to offer management with caked in inventory capabilities. So setting price makes sense in this context because but price is like a subcomponent of the whole thing, because
mm,
that's what's my offer price is essentially your price. Quantity itself, now if I originally had envisioned having, and this is where like some of the internal politics of where I work gets annoying, because it's like I don't have the autonomy to build out what I envision we need for the entire thing. I have to like rely on another team to do that, and it's like I can't get in depth enough to feel like I have ownership over anything and like the autonomy to make it the best I can think to make it. But like I imagine having a separate inventory system that is purely about what do I have, where do I have it, um, and how much is, and specifically a reservation capability for that, which is sorely needed. So like I want to reserve this quantity for this purpose. It might be for an order, it might be for a um, something or whatever, and then a way to like commit that. So it's almost like inventory really needs to be thought of like as a almost like in the same way a bank account would be. Like you're depositing.
Well, it's a ledger.
Yeah, you're depositing stuff. Your which is like your credits or whatever, and then you're debiting it, or you're like putting a more like a credit card. You're putting an authorization on it, and then you debit it at a later time. Um, like all that stuff needs to be fit into this inventory system, but I don't get to work on that part. So I just have to like imagine it. So there's things like having a pending quantity and building out reservations that, um, and handling the concurrency problem, which is really interesting to me, but I just don't get to work on it. So it's friggin' lame and it annoys me. And every time I think about it, I just get pissed off and want to just go work somewhere else. That's true, like true stuff. So it's like it's my biggest pain point is just not having the autonomy to think of the system that I'm in up to the boundaries I know that exist with other real teams that aren't just a subcomponent of this thing. So like the channels, there's a clear handoff. It's a one small chunk of data, one way out. This is the offer, and then updates to that offer, right? And then there's a lock in that comes back. So like a marketplace could sell, or a representation of a foreign marketplace could sell the item, and then come in and lock in the offer on our side to make sure that the quantity is still available, the pricing is still available. You can see it's very simple, and it would make it clear like this is where you and I interact with each other, and that's it. But no, it's like I have to have somebody in between the application I'm building and that point where now I have to build like these finer grain API calls that are just frustrating. So I don't know.
Mm.
I was in a big rut this week of thinking like, man, I just need to move on again. I go in these like things like waves.
Midlife
Like
crisis. Midlife
it's like
crisis.
no, I'm engaged with work, and then I'm like nothing, and then engaged, and then nothing. And it's like a roller coaster, man. I just want to move. I don't know. Maybe I just got to find something that doesn't allow you to slow down long enough to think about that, or it's just like they're so small. Every you have to do a lot of stuff. So
When's your next side project to build up some passive income or an attempt to generate passive revenue?
yeah, that's what I was saying. I should build a Windows app. I haven't built one of those in a while, just for fun. I still get like little.
Should build a Windows Store app.
Yeah, I did. So I have like one out there, and I still get like a few dollars every few months from it. Like, it's
I thought they
bizarre.
deprecated the Windows Store, no?
No, the Windows Store is still out there. Yeah, no,
Mm.
you just go to any Windows PC, you open up the Windows Store, and it's the Microsoft Store, and then there's the apps folder um, within there.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's still out there. They've allowed, non UWP apps in it, so that helps. Actually, like if you want to pay for Paint.net, you buy it through. I think it was Paint.net. You buy it through the Microsoft Store to pay for it.
Paint.net costs money?
No, if you want to pay for it, they actually use that as the mechanism for their, like, if you want to use the paid version, which is the same as the free version, but you just want to thank us without having to go through some donate stuff, just buy it on the Microsoft Store. That's
Okay.
what they use as their basically they're almost like their charitable giving channel. Or like support channel. You know what I mean? Like buy it through here.
Yeah, I see a Netflix app on here.
Yeah. So the one that I have is called like, I want to see if I can still find it. It's called Write Freely. Oh yeah, here it is. Um, I have 11 ratings with 4.1 stars. It's the stupidest app ever. Um, but it kind of makes sense when you use it. It's so like Windows 8 era UI though.
No.
um, but it's like the entire thing is it gives you a text box and it doesn't let you do any edits at all. It's like just write, and it forces you to not try to make spelling mistakes because you can't backspace, you can't delete, you can't highlight and cut, paste, all that. You have to just write. And so if you start using it and try to write what you're thinking, and then like um, try to not have a spelling mistake, you slow yourself down. And then it was like, I don't know. I marketed it as a like a creativity tool. Like you're not allowed to go back and edit this during it, so just write.
And how many people have bashed your product in the ratings
I
or
have
review?
one star and or no, like one and one 2 star. The ones that I got were they didn't understand what it was. They're like, it needs backspace or it needs the ability to copy. It's like this isn't a word editor. It's not the point. um, so my most helpful favorable review is like is a 5 star like one from 5 years ago, and it's like, oh, this is great. Um,
That
but
was
yeah,
written by,
needs to
that
be
was written
able to
by a family
paste.
member.
Paste is needed. Like what? It's not the point. Yeah. So
Oh shoot, I forgot to tell you. Uh, Going back to Beach Mobile. Notice I deprecated Beach Delivery. It's not Beach Mobile. Um, I decided, and you're probably going to raise a brow. I decided to add the community feature to it. So basically, residents can be carriers, and they could be basically they will get a notification of what the offer is for them loaning out their or renting out their equipment, and a courier could show up at their house. And the thought process is to support a network effect to try to get word of mouth. And so instead of it just being like
oh,
beach
I get what you're saying.
stores,
Yep.
um, have your have your neighbors that live close to the beach have an opportunity so that again word of mouth. The other part, which is also a media hack or try to do the network effect, is when the courier delivers the product to the customer, part of the delivery completed policy is for them to take a photo of the equipment that's been delivered, preferably with the customer in front of it or next to it, right, in the same shot. Once that process or that policy has been completed, then a service will post to Instagram. It will then, within the thank you text message or thank you SMS to the customer, provide a link to the Instagram and provide an opportunity for the customer to tag themselves. If the customer decides to tag themselves, in which the majority of people under the age of 30 are social media nuts, that will provide an opportunity for them to visit the Instagram page, um, maybe Facebook, but for right now, Instagram page of where that person's photo was tagged at, and increase awareness and marketing. So that was the thought process.
Yeah. Though I guess the one caveat for that is for people's privacy and that stuff like that. So you either need a really solid
Well,
terms and
they
conditions
they
that they
tag
know.
themselves.
No. But you're taking a picture of them anyways, and people might be mad that they're posted on Instagram. Like they don't want people to know that they're, especially when the guy's out with his mistress and gets
Yeah, I
an
know.
Instagram photo taken of him collecting a battery charger or something. Like, no, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I
Like
I mean
you'd have to
they
ask him,
can,
is it okay if we post this on
and
Instagram?
that could be
Like,
done through Twilio. No. By default, it gets posted, and then within the SMS um, that they receive once the delivery has been completed, they can reply with a message in order to have it removed, and the service will delete it.
Yeah. So like I said, you need a solid. You probably just need a solid terms and conditions that state that we reserve the right to post your.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm saying you're gonna run into this eventually. If it, assuming you reach scale, it's gonna happen.
yeah.
Like people are
Eventually,
gonna be
yeah.
pissed that you posted their pictures. Like I don't want you. Like if this was a service I used, and then you posted my picture without asking me, I'd be kind of pissed. Like I don't want people to see me on the beach. Like you know, in a marketing thing. No, man, I don't
All right.
know.
So do things that don't scale. Provide the option for
But this is
the.
something. This isn't something scalability issue. This is a people get pissed off about privacy. People are very conscious about
How many
privacy.
people get pissed off at Facebook?
A lot of people do. That's why a lot of people
Okay.
leave. But the thing is
Well,
if I expect to have a
Facebook has a
service and
billion
you're
people on
posting
it.
me on Facebook like without my permission, I could get mad. I could get very mad about that.
I understand that. One is there's like one follower on the Beach Mobile Instagram page, right? No one
Well,
knows
yeah,
about it, so
right
you're not
now.
gonna.
Yeah.
It's a high probability that it will continue to have one follower, right? I mean, that's the whole point of a startup business is it's a high probability of failure. So,
Yeah. No, I get what you're going at. I just would say like, make it I would almost let them like say like opt in or something. And then like,
yeah.
I don't know. You could almost treat it as like a feature too, like hey, like train the couriers to be like, "Hey, would you like us to take a picture with this with you?" And you get a nice beach photo
Well,
and
we
we
take
get
the photo
yeah.
and before we publish it to our Instagram account, because that photo is still evidence that it was delivered. It's confirmation that it was delivered. So we take it regardless. But then we'll publish it to Instagram. If the user replies yes to a message of can we share it?
Yeah. Or yeah, so there's that or you could just have it where um could it be like one of the things that you have on many of these pages where you like share this or whatever and you just give like the correct hashtags back to your account. You know what I mean? Like so it's like give them the
Well,
photo and
do it through
suggest that they share it. So it goes on their Instagram accounts.
mm, maybe, or instead of relying on SMS for them
And
to
you give a
reply,
discount for it.
it's built into the app where they get a confirmation that their package has been delivered, and there's a link that launches the app, right? Beach mobile app, and then there's a dedicated page for them to view the snapshot or the photo of them, and then if they will basically provide them opportunity to give permission to post it to our page.
Yeah. Yeah. But
That's
like I
it.
said, it'd be really cool if you could get other people to post their pictures and then link back to yours from there too at the same time. Like
If they tag themselves, people are going to go to it regardless, right?
oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
And
okay.
people are going to, yeah. I don't know. I think it would be very hard for them to do selfies, post it on their Instagram, and then say, "Oh, I'm going to link to the Beach Mobile Instagram page." Like, I don't think it's going to
No,
happen.
no, you put it in like the you could put it in the like the because like you can generate if you're doing a share button, you can generate the contents of the share, right? Like
Okay, I guess I'll talk to you about it.
so like
I
sign
don't
up for
use Instagram.
like sign up I don't use Instagram either, but I've done this on Twitter. Like sign up for a run and then like sometimes you get like at the end like share this with your follow people. You click the share button and it'll have like a message like I just signed up for this blah 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 and then it'll have some hashtags that they want to use for tracking and then that's what will get posted to Twitter. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's like you could delete those things if you don't want them, but at the same time, if you make it easy for them, they just can click and say, "Oh, here's the appropriate message." I got this, whatever, in this, and you could localize it to where they're like at this beach, great times, or I don't know.
I love the what do you call it when enthusiasm that you added. Great times. Like,
Great times, yeah, or whatever the hell it is, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see where I am in a
like,
week. Oh, next week. I think I have to miss next week after I just talked about being consistent, but I'll be back the next week. I'm on a fishing trip. I think I did this last year too, up at Lake of the Woods.
well, what about Thursday?
I could
Hold
do
up, you're
Thursday
out
morning.
all of next week.
No, just
Okay.
Friday. Just Friday, which is our normal day. I could do Thursday morning if you
All right.
want. Just let me know. I think there's no reason I
All
couldn't
right.
do Thursday morning. Yeah, there's no reason I couldn't do Thursday morning. So if you want to do Thursday, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just skip it. So
Yeah.
just see where you're at on
Next.
Wednesday and let me
Next.
know.
Yeah. If we have it Thursday, I hope to be able to have my customer app uh, basically connect to a Pulumi generated environment, and I could demo the end to end, purchase and delivery and all that stuff. I would like to have that demoed by Thursday, which means I have to submit a Microsoft support ticket today in order to increase the probability of that happening. So,
Just
all right,
manifest it. Get it done.
like, man up,
Yeah, man up. There you go.
and we'll catch up. Thanks.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
Bye, gambler. See you.